Hi, I'm Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about great things that are happening in this community and the region, and today will be no different. You know, jazz has been with us for over 100 years, and I am personally a big jazz lover and love all the many versions and varieties and expressions of jazz as they are promoted. Today we've got a great show that's going to talk to you about an initiative that's actually going to make a profound impact on our community and several other communities around the state of Alabama. I want to introduce you to Bernard Lockhart. He is the Executive Director of Jazz in the Park based in Birmingham, Alabama. Bernard, welcome to Impact.
Thank you, sir. Welcome. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you, man. And I know we've been waiting to have this conversation for a while, so I'm glad we're able to finally have it and looking forward to the great information that you're going to share.
Thank you.
Sitting next to you is a friend of mine. He's Roland Gresham, none other than Roland Gresham, a dynamic jazz guitarist. And we are blessed and very fortunate to say that Roland lives in this community. So he is a son of the city, and we thank him for being a part of this city, this community, and this program today.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's good to have both of you guys. I'm really excited because, again, I love jazz. And the fact that we have a jazz presence in this community, in Birmingham and around the state, is very exciting.
Right.
Bernard, tell me a little bit about Jazz in the Park, and then we're going to develop what you're doing in Birmingham and talk about how it's connecting to what's happening with the jazz scene in Huntsville, and even how it's connected in the past, because this is not your first foray into this community.
No, I represent a nonprofit in Birmingham called Magic City Smooth Jazz. We were incorporated back in 2008. And our main project is Jazz in the Park, which is like you stated, it's a free concert series that we developed and created back in 2010. We wanted to try to provide more jazz, cultural arts activities in some of those culturally underserved communities in Birmingham. And one way we wanted to do it was through Jazz in the Park. And so Jazz in the Park we started out with maybe 5 parks in 2010. And just a test, like a pilot series, to see how it would go. And I tell you, Kenny, it has blossomed now, going into our 7th year. It's blossomed into like 10 to 15 parks that we do just around the state of Alabama. So we're very excited about the growth of the project.
Yeah, and what kind of response have you gotten from the people? I know you're talking about the numbers are growing, but this has to be a lot of energy and a lot of vibrancy in this process as well, with people who are benefiting from the experience.
You're starting to find people more and more every year starting to build their vacation and family reunions around Jazz in the Park, because it is a free concert. It happens primarily on Sundays afternoon from about 6 to 9 p.m. And so we encourage people to come out, the family, bring the children, the adults, just to come out for about 3 hours of jazz music. And I tell you, it's been, but what really makes Jazz in the Park are the quality of the artists, like a Roland Gresham, who people are just thrilled to see. And so you have those, when you look at those survey results up there in the 98th percentile of people saying how much they enjoyed the experience, how much they're going to come back the following year, it's really the quality of the artists that makes Jazz in the Park successful.
Yeah, and I want to talk about some of those other artists too, but I would not do that before I talk to the one right here in the studio today. It's Roland Gresham right here on my set, man. I tell you, I'm honored to have you here today.
Thank you.
And I'm a big fan of yours, and a big supporter of what you're doing and what you've done.
That. Yeah.
And I'm just thrilled to have you here because I know that you represent the best of what Bernard is talking about. Talk about what it means to have a initiative like Jazz in the Park that's a free gift to the community, first of all, but also the fact that it's now beginning to spread out into the community around the state and will actually impact the city of Huntsville this year.
Right. Well, you know, I think that there are some people who look at the state of Alabama not in the vein of jazz music. You know, I think a lot of people look at Alabama from a blues standpoint. And I can't think of the name of what's the festival they have out in Muscle Shoals?
Oh, the WC Handy.
Handy
right.
Festival, yeah.
And so because Alabama is not necessarily known for jazz, the attendance, I think people are hungry for it. And when they come out there to Jazz in the Park, the fellowship with other people from that neighborhood or from the city, the folks have their picnic lunches, and they've got drinks, and there are chairs, and it's a relaxed atmosphere. And to hear top quality musicians who are not like up on a pedestal, but just regular down-to-earth guys up there playing that music like that, it just kind of makes them feel like they're experiencing something that you might not otherwise hear it unless you're in Chicago, New York, LA. And so I believe that spreading it out, because this was in Birmingham where it started, but the rest of Alabama wants to hear it too. And you know, right here in the Huntsville area, we have a jazz radio station. And when I first moved here about 14 years ago, I was saying, thank you that there's a jazz station. So I think that the love of jazz, I don't want to start naming artists, but there's so many great jazz artists out there that are big names. And so when you can hear that type of talent right here in your own home state, I think a lot of people like, give me more.
Yeah, and you know, Roland, Bernard makes a great point just talking about this is more than just a concert.
Right.
You know, this is an experience.
It really is.
People come out and they can network with other people. They can just have a great afternoon of fun and fellowship and music. Right. This is really more than just this event that we oftentimes pay for to go to and sit in a chair and perhaps get in a little bit of rhythmic movement. Right. But it's really an experience.
It really is, and that's one of the questions I asked in my survey following the series is, what did you enjoy most about Jazz in the Park? And one of the most overwhelming responses that it's an opportunity for us to come out and just fellowship with my friends, to hang out with my friends, to hang out with my family, and also expose them to some of the parks that they've never been to. And so what started out as a series that's really wanted to impact that particular community, which started, but has blossomed into now that the individuals from that community are starting to follow it everywhere it goes. So if it's in Birmingham, it goes to Helena, it goes to Irondale, Huntsville, and other places around the state, even Tuscaloosa. You're starting to find them to follow it as it goes, which is, I think it's just a great contribution to, I think, the quality of the musicians. Back to the musicians, and we always trying to, I call them I call them emerging artists. Those artists that's looking and trying to get their name out. They're up and coming. We love to give them exposure, but at the same time, they make it very clear in the survey, we want some more established artists. So we're able to bring in a few established artists to go along, because we will always support Alabama jazz artists. We will always support them. So I think that has been really a major factor in the success of the series.
Yeah, now that's terrific, and we've mentioned the musicians a few times. I know that you've got a chance to really work with a lot of emerging talent, that people come and they see these artists perform and they're really wowed by the level of talent that they're experiencing right now, and there's no telling where these individuals will go. The true test, I think you would say, Roland, of a musician is not so much the public success that they may have, because sometimes we think about musicians as the named musicians that are selling lots of albums and on tour all the time. But then you go to a jazz set and you hear somebody perform and it's like, man, that was good. And you haven't lost a step over anybody.
Exactly. And not only that, you hear that level of musicianship, but then after the concert, you can walk right up to that artist and shake his hand and say, hey, I really enjoyed that. And there's no bodyguards, you know, and so it's the same caliber of musical talent, but there's a closeness that you can't get with those big names.
Yeah, I love the way you said that, absolutely. And Bernard, we've said a couple of times that this is a free event to the community. Anybody that wants to be a part of it can be a part of it. I know people actually come from various parts of the state to be a part of it, as you said, and outside of the state as well. How is this funded?
Primarily funded. We're very, very, very blessed to have the municipalities that really, between talk about the city of Birmingham, the city of Helena, Irondale, even Bessemer, and the city of Huntsville. So we are funded primarily by the municipality, but as well as we do get grants from the Alabama State Council on the Arts. We get them from the National Endowment for the Arts, a large number of corporate foundation, and also individuals that want to contribute to Jazz in the Park. So, and I'll just say this, Kenny, that my goal is to try to support the artists more than anything, because I know when they come out, we're not be able to support them at their market value. We're just blessed to have them to come out. So I hope at some point that we get to a point where we can really support them the way that they really truly deserve, because I tell you, it's their talent that really makes Jazz in the Park a success. I'm not kidding. It's not me. It's not. It's really not. It's really because I've had a lot of people say, "Hey, I heard about Jazz in the Park. I'm gonna ride out here and see what it's all about." Then they said, when I got there, I thought I was expecting some little small stage and somebody just on stage. But he got there and they see a professional stage, professional artists, nice sound equipment, lights and everything. I think they're blown away by it. So we're just hoping to continue to make it grow.
Yeah, well, it's a great concept, and it obviously is growing 7 years now, and just moving forward, branching out in many ways. Last year, you learned that you received an opportunity through a grant to be able to expand it to we've primarily been focused on the greater Birmingham area, but I wanted to try to cover the entire state. And what better way to expand and to go through the Alabama State Parks. So we're very fortunate to be partnering with Alabama State Parks and the Alabama State Council on the Art to provide Monsanto Park in Huntsville. We're going to Lake Garnersville. We're going to Oak Mountain. If we're going far south, as in Auburn to Chihuahua. The goal, Chihuahua State Park, the goal is to try to get it to Gulf Shoals. And so we're also, we're looking this year, I'm in the process right now of writing a grant to try to get it to more national parks in Alabama. So we're targeting 4 national parks with the state parks and with the municipality parks. I think we're going to try to cover the entire state. So yeah, a lot of work. And that's those natural habitats to me are just perfect backdrops for what you take to combine a great crowd of people who come out for a great afternoon of music in a great setting with some great musicians. I mean, it's just a perfect combination.
Yeah. Goodness, the one that we had a year or so ago, it was at Helena Amphitheater, and correct me if I'm wrong, Helena is like a suburb of Birmingham.
It is.
And when I pulled up there, I was thinking, this is kind of out of the way. I don't know how many people. Man, that's the biggest crowd I've ever seen.
Wow.
There was so many people there. I was sitting there like, my goodness. And the people coming up, and the backdrop, trees. I think there's a little brook kind of in the background.
Nice.
It was like having a jazz concert in the forest.
And the mayor was so excited about it.
Yeah,
He said, Bernard, this is great for the city of Helena. And I think that's the impact that it truly has on a community. It's just to expose, I guarantee you 80% of the people there would probably never been to Helena Amphitheater. But now it's to give them a chance to maybe one day may want to drive to Helena and maybe, I don't know, shop there or maybe go to dinner there. But it's really try to expose those areas. So.
Yeah, so it has other benefits as well.
Absolutely.
Beyond the music.
Right.
Yeah.
Roland, I think you have a great backstory in terms of just how you got into music. And I love hearing you tell that story. So now that I've got you and I've got this captive audience listening, I want you to share your story about how you got into becoming a guitarist.
Sure. It's very simple. My dad was a jazz guitarist in Nashville, Tennessee, which is where I was born. And his name was Roland Gresham. He was Roland P. Gresham. I'm Roland E. Gresham. I guess he wanted to avoid Junior. But I was his firstborn of 4 boys. And he showed me 3 chords when I was 6 years old and said, keep practicing. And that's the only lessons I ever had. Wow. But my dad was a Wes Montgomery fan. My dad loved jazz, and his favorite guitarist was Wes Montgomery. So I might have been 8, 9 years old. And when my dad would go to the store, he and my mother go to grocery shopping, I'd go in there and take those Wes Montgomery records and put them on, and I probably scratched most of them because I didn't know. But I wanted to hear that music that he was playing. And by the time I was 13, 14, anything I heard I could play. It's definitely a gift.
Wow. And, you know, I watch you play, and it's effortless, and obviously you've had many years of playing now behind you.
Right.
You had those early influences at that time. On your journey, and considering where you are now, what other influences have been a part of your musical journey?
Well, really, it's interesting. When I was in high school, I listened to a lot of radio. We lived out in the country, down in Unionville, Tennessee. I know you never heard of it. But my grandmother, my brothers and I moved there to be with my grandmother. And she was on about 50 acres. I mean, we were out in the boonies.
Wow.
And so when I came home from school every day, I would turn the radio on and listen to whatever came on, whether it was Elvis Presley, the Jackson 5, the Osmonds, Al Green, and I would take my guitar and just play along with all, even different shows that would come on TV that had an orchestra playing in the background. I would hear that music and go, sounds like that chord is, and I'd play progressions to go along with the orchestrations. And so then I heard of George Benson when I was in my early 20s, and that became my favorite guitar player to this day.
Wow.
So I just had a lot of jazz influence from my dad, the radio, which really, a lot of the jazz music you hear these days is jazz / R&B. Right. You hear a lot of jazz artists doing covers of some of the famous popular R&B songs. And so listening to the R&B, the classical music, and then the jazz just kind of gave me a large variety of musical styles that are in my head. So I can get together with a group of musicians and jam with them. Maybe we haven't practiced, but you would never know it.
Yeah.
Because I'm listening to what they're playing and just playing things off of that. And so yeah, that's my background, just a lot of different styles.
You know, behind what I do now for a living, and then my fantasies of being a professional baseball player. If I had one job, you know, to choose, that would have been it. I would play center field for the New York Yankees.
Oh, boy.
The third thing would have been to be a professional musician on stage, jamming with some band. That has to be some kind of a feeling, man. Tell me about that feeling.
There's a special electricity about it. I believe that instrumental music is like a special language. A keyboard player can be playing in a song and you've got other musicians around, the drummer, the bass player, and then he might hit a chord progression and all the other musicians go, ooh! And it's because they hear the language. And other people out in the audience may not understand what happened, but the musicians are speaking that language. So many times when I'm playing, maybe if I'm playing at a church, playing with a choir, and I'll go da-da, and bend that string, and then several people go, ooh! So it's a special language that, something that it goes beyond singing. And singing is fine, but those instruments, it's like they talk to each other. And I'll use this as an example. It's kind of funny, but you remember the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when the mothership was there and they were doing the da-da-da-da-da, and the guys on the keyboard playing, and they were talking to each other. And I think that's a great example of how music is a language. And there are a lot of people who, if they're not into jazz, they think, I don't really understand that language.
Yeah.
And so, but if you're a jazz lover, like we are, you know that language, and you know when a person speaks that language just by the sound of their playing. You can walk into a building and hear somebody on the side. Oh, that's a jazz musician right there.
And I got to tell you, there's nothing like hearing a chord getting bent.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That thing will make you move a little bit.
That's why you have to be careful sometimes. Get you in trouble.
Bernard, obviously you've experienced rapid growth and development in this process of presenting this initiative to the city of Birmingham, the region, the state. Where do you hope to grow from here? I know that you now with this state park thing happening, that's a new thing, and you've obviously got some other ideas in your mind right now. I know you're always thinking ahead. What's the next step in this process?
Really, I'll be honest with you, Ken, and really, I would love to be able just to cover the entire state of Alabama. I mean, that's from north, go to from Muscle Shoals to Huntsville, all the way the entire state. Maybe not so many concerts, but at least I want to try to expose it to as many people as possible. That's one of the reasons why we keep it free. And a lot of people say, you know, you can always put a ticket price on this. I said, no, because I think you gain more accessibility by making it free to the public, so a family doesn't have to worry about costs. So my goal is to try to keep it free for forever and try to expand it to as many large municipalities across the state of Alabama. That's the true goal. So
and that can certainly happen. I could see that happening because it seems like more and more young people are looking for cultural experiences. I think that the education community is supporting that. We have lots of different local civic organizations that are looking for ways to do positive things and family-friendly kinds of activities. And this, of course, is that that very type of thing. And it's really exciting to hear that and know that. I know, Bernard, you mentioned earlier about some of the performers that you've had in the past, but I know you'll be working with some more in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think we have a great partnership this year with smoothjazz.com online. It has a huge following of individuals, and I'm telling you, every day I'm getting an email from emerging artists, from those more established artists. So we're just very blessed to work with people like Roland Gresham, Kim Scott here from the state, Kenny Williams, Van Birchfield, but also some of those more established artists. We've had some from Marion Meadows to Warren Hill, and so we're just hoping to try to increase and give them more visibility, so people can learn more, because a lot, like Roland stated, there are not too many. We don't get jazz that much in our state, but when we do, I think people really do enjoy it, and I think we're starting to try to grow the music the best way we can.
Yeah, and that's I think what I appreciate the most about it. You know, we could all be sitting around saying, "Well, what if?"
Right.
But you know, you can actually do.
You can, right?
You can actually go out and pursue whatever it is that you want and collaborate and make this thing possible, and that's exactly what we're talking about here, whether it's the collaboration of municipalities, the musicians, the city, whatever that might be. You're bringing people together for a great cause, and that's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah, we in fact, speaking of collaboration, I mean, you would never think, but we're collaborating with as more arts councils. We're collaborating with some of the colleges and universities that want jazz on campus, and so we're just thrilled to be able to. I love the collaboration with the municipality, because that is truly huge. Because you guys really make it happen, and so. We just thank you for the opportunity and the exposure.
All right. So tell us again where these parks are going to be having jazz concerts this year.
Well, we're going to do a majority of them. We're going to start out up in the Huntsville area. We're going to start here at Montesano State Park. Then we're going to go on down to Lake Garnersville. Then we're going to have a cluster of concerts going on primarily in the Birmingham area. They're going to move around to various parks, and they can always visit our website about that. And also, we're going to try to move a little bit south, like I said, down to Helena, and also down to Auburn, with the hopes one day we're looking at Tuskegee, as well as down to the Gulf Coast. So we're just hoping to grow it. Yeah,
I love that Gulf Shores thing.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
You just let me know when you put that one together.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're there right now.
Road trip, right? So tell us what the website is so people can get more information.
Yeah, you can visit MagicCitySmoothJazz.com. And you will have a list of the schedule of the upcoming shows. And while you're there, please join our mailing list so you can get, each week we'll send out a newsletter where we're going to be performing, who will be performing, give you a little bio about them as well. And if you want to make a donation, you can donate and support. We're a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 nonprofits. We love get donations to support, and your donation goes strictly to project support, so we can help to expand jazz in the park.
Bernard Lockhart, Executive Director, we thank you for being here today, and continued best wishes on the Jazz in the Park initiative.
Yes, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Roland, you keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yes,
I mean, just keep making it happen. Keep making that beautiful music.
Move.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
We want to thank you for being a part of our broadcast today as well, and want to thank these guys for a great experience of learning more about the jazz scene right here in this community as well as throughout the state. And we want you to stay tuned for more information. As we move out of the broadcast today, we want to give you a little listen to Roland Gresham. This is from his CD project. It's called Pillow Talk, and we hope that you enjoy it. We'll see you again on our next edition of the Impact broadcast. In the meantime, have a great day.